If every web event got the same treatment as this one did, then perfection wouldn't be enough to describe it.
Hey guys, what's up? Aru. So here I am picking apart Skirk Lore, Dragon Fossils, Abyss Masters, the White Abyss, and now a Moon Sister just shattered. The Moon event just updated and it's given us quite a bit to look into. The Ancient Moon Remnants revealed, 11 mysterious factions in Nod-Krai, the Pale Star Edict and the Old Order of the Fatui, and Hiisi Island, possibly the last lunar sanctuary. This might be the setup for the next big celestial war, and the question is, who was the first moon that fell, and what exactly is going on in Nod-Krai? Jumping right into it, timestamps below, so let's break it down. In the first moon of Song of Welkin Moon web event, we're shown a shattered moon floating in space. This image represents the fall of one of the three moon sisters, Arya, Sonnet, or Canon. While the original myth, notably from the moonlit bamboo forest, never explicitly assigns which moon is which by appearance, we now have visual cues from the web event to examine. In the previous panel, three moons are shown orbiting closely in a syzygy, one central and two slightly offset behind it. In the following image, two moons still remain intact while one has already fallen, with debris indicating the destruction of the leftmost or rearward moon. Based on the symbolic placement of a triad goddess, one waxing, one full, and one waning, the surviving moon appears to be the central full moon and then the waning crescent moon. The brightest moon in the waning gibbous may have been the one that fell, which fits with the largest white part of the moon initially dying. Interestingly, today is the waning gibbous as well, so maybe the next update is the waning crescent, which is this crescent moon here behind the full moon. The red tinted backdrop of destruction mirrors the crimson hue associated with the ancient moon remnants found in Natlan, suggesting that this moon's fall occurred first, possibly tied to the same event or impact when Nibulang brought the Abyss invaders to Tevat. But specifically, which sister actually died? Well, we can't confirm with absolute certainty, but drawing from the moonlit bamboo forest, we learned that the Moon Sisters once brought harmony through music and celestial rhythms. Their fall was sequential, triggered by sorrow, conflict, or loss. In the web event, the sequence appears to be as such. The eternal moon fell and caused chaos, then came the iridescent moon's crimson shadow, and finally the frost moon ceased to turn. If these names align with Canon, Arya, and Sonnet, then the order may suggest that the eternal moon, possibly Canon for order, fell first, causing chaos, the iridescent moon, possibly Arya for form, becoming corrupted or mourned, which lost her form, and the frost moon, possibly Sonnet for emotion and song, entering stasis or hiding out of loss. Thus, the waning gibbous moon that fell may represent Canon, which is possibly this same moon in Natlan. These patterns align with the emergence of the prophecy of the new moon, a celestial successor meant to restore balance or rewrite fate after all three moons have gone out. And the remaining sister corpse now watches from above as the cycle nears renewal. Or maybe it's in Nod-Krai. Just for some extra implications, before the sun and moon text is foundational to understanding the celestial structure before the current era. It presents the idea that the world originally had no sun or moon, and the people lived without time under the rule of the primordial one. This means that at that time, there was no real sun or moon. The three moon sisters, Arya, Sonnet, and Canon, steered the celestial sphere and governed the night, bringing harmony through song and rhythm and paired with the sun, which is the morning star. Their fall marked the end of that era. Two died, their remnants falling to the world, while one seems to have withdrawn into solitude, assumed to have been dead. Referencing moonlit bamboo forest again, nature itself, wolves, previous stars, and even white gold mares older than Rex Lapis remember this event, which implies that the moons could have come from the arrival of the primordial one and the shades, or that they were part of the dragon civilization before the primordial one. Now these have three implications. The original moon system predating Celestia. If you played through the 5.5 world quest, then you'll know that Nibulang came back while humans were settled in with the dragons. So the moons may have been divine instruments of natural order of Tevat during the Dragon era, who simply existed with the primordial one after the Dragon War, and then finally lost when the Abyss arrived with Nibulang. Second, the moon represents a restoration, the reawakening of a new moon, possibly Paimon, the Welkin moon, or another vessel like the Saritsa, may reintroduce the original cosmic order, undoing Celestia's imposed reality after tampering with the Dragon Order, which is the original phlogiston and light. Finally, memory and moonlight are tied. The moons possibly governed the night and memory together. Their fall fractured not only the sky but also the fabric of history and truth. This goes hand in hand with the fact that phlogiston contains information and data as computronium, which was purged and replaced during the Heavenly Principles' rule. Tevat's lands was originally called Holy Soil and Light, which was the primordial state of the world that could fend off against the Abyss originally. Moving on, the second major visual reveals an astral map of 11 factions aligned around Nod-Krai. These factions are cosmic actors in the unfolding lunar prophecy. Each faction is symbolized by unique constellation-like crests and ideologies, along with their own constellation animations, and would likely play a big role in the unfolding events within Nod-Krai and all the way to Snezhnaya, with this last one being almost like a fallen piece of the sky that destroyed a mountain. We already know who the Fatui are, but their role in Nod-Krai now seems a lot different. They arrive as invaders and not diplomats, and they're acting under the Pale Star Edict, a command that appears to predate even their current organization. What stands out is the banner they now carry, the Pale Star. Now this isn't a symbol that we associate with the Fatui today. Their modern emblem is a red four-pointed snowflake-like star, aggressive, cold, and militant. But a Pale Star implies something white, faded, or even forgotten. So why are they now marching under a different banner inside of Nod-Krai? There's only one canonical item in-game that references the word pale with deep meaning connected to the Fatui, the Pale Flame or White Flame artifact set. That set details the origins of the Fatui, who they were before they joined the Harbingers. It suggests a time when their loyalty and ideals were still different, perhaps a more pure organization during the first Cryo Archon's rule. So could the Pale Star represent the original order they once served, before becoming who they are now, a Crimson Star? This goes even deeper once we talk about the Snowland Fae later in the video. Now maybe what we're seeing isn't just a new military order, but a return to an old one. And if that's the case, then the people of Nod-Krai staring at this banner may not be recognizing the Fatui. They may be recognizing something far older, a pre-cataclysmic faction, a lost Archon allegiance, or even a divine mission that has been reawakened. The Fatui's current red star could mean a corruption or disillusionment of the original Pale Star, which is where the Pale Flame set as well as all of their pale clothing would have originated. Just as the Tsaritsa changed after the cataclysm, so did her army and her people. And now they return to the only place that still remember it, not as emissaries of her will, but as enforcers of something ancient. Or maybe it's just a way to keep face in Nod-Krai. The Wild Hunt. Armies of the Abyss that sweep across the land like a dark storm, accompanied by their eerie whispers from endless darkness. This group constantly attacks Nod-Krai and are accompanied with incursions from other anomalies of the Abyss, likely a team attack from the Abyss. Their symbol, a jagged celestial compass with blade-like edges, and it's the same symbol used by Abyss Heralds and Lectors. They seem to be a new elite Abyss Order force, but I'm hoping that they're a separate group found within the deep delves of the Abyss that we still don't know about, introducing a solely Abyss-aligned faction different from Khaenri'ah and the Abyss Order. Referred to as soulless monsters, they sweep across canyons in search of something, likely lunar fragments or the Moon Goddess herself, the Crimson Moon, the Black Sun, or the Frost Moon. Now I'm taking a random shot here that these guys act like the same Wild Hunt from the Witcher series or the Wild Hunt in Limbus Company, searching for the moons as it is essential to either their revival of Khaenri'ah or just to consume celestial bodies as pure Abyss entities. Located at the edge of the world, or the edge of multiple worlds, the Hexenzirkel have their sights on Nod-Krai as it is a hotspot of conflict and drama. Whether it's where fate starts to turn, or it's where the fate of the world will be changed is still unknown. But you can bet that it has something to do with one or maybe all of their specialties. 5.8 is also closing in, so Nod-Krai could be the ironically cold summer event as well. Their symbol being a biblically accurate angel, an amillary sphere, which fits for the astrological level of tomfoolery that this faction does. If we look closer, we can see twisted triquetra-like leaves, almost similar to fates in the wish system, sort of like a core or something otherworldly or divine, along with similar ley line motifs which we've seen from their teaser as spiral branches. Spirals so far have become symbols connecting between worlds through the Spiral Abyss and Arlecchino's past dynasty. The Hexenzirkel is a secret coven of witches: Alice, Rhine-daughter, Barbeloth, Ivanovna, Nicole, Anders' daughter, as well as the missing last member and the theorized Octavia, the Wandering Witch. These witches partake in Irminsul explorations as well as outer world traversal, each member with specific implied specialties, as well as one of them being part of the Great Sinners of Khaenri'ah, Rhine-daughter. So we can only guess what exactly they're going to do for now. Lightkeepers are an ancient organization that has long defended Nod-Krai's freedom and peace against the Wild Hunt attacks and other Abyss incursions, which means that there are variations of Abyss attacking Nod-Krai. This is a force or guild within Nod-Krai that combats the Abyss specifically, likely combining their efforts with the Fatui, who also take on missions against and in the Abyss itself. Their logo symbolizing radiant starburst and a tower silhouette, as well as a beam of light. Once strong and staunch defenders, now weakened and few in number, and possible descendants of moon loyalists or devotees from an old era. Their symbol of a lighthouse might also connect to the lighthouse in Simulanka, but instead of spaceships traveling to other worlds, they use their own ships to fight off against the Abyss monsters and the Wild Hunt. As they are an ancient organization, we can also assume that they could have protected the followers of the moons or are moonborn entities that mourn the loss of the Moon Sisters, which are called Grievous Stars in the Moonlit Bamboo Forest book. Their origin might stem from the remaining Ratniki soldiers, which literally means warrior or soldier in Russian. Moving on, the Frostmoon Scions are descendants of a Golden Age civilization who worship the moon goddess, living in mountains likely close to or established on the Hiisi Island itself after abandoning their ancient civilization. Since time immemorial, they've been worshipping the moon goddess and praying to the moonlight in their hearts. But as we've theorized before, their worship of a deity that isn't the Cryo Archon will come to a stop and begin a civil war. This is because the Fatui have arrived in Nod-Krai and might be searching for some great primordial and moon-related powers. Their symbol is a stag with antlered crests and a crescent moon decoration on its head, much like the moon gods in Celtic and Finnish mythology, which is also connected to the Hiisi. Carnunos is a Celtic staghorn deity of growth, shedding, and rebirth, which is not only connected to the new moon rising, but also of the moon phases and the cycles of antler growth. The Hiisi are fearsome spirits of the grove, and stags also symbolize the spirit realm in Finnish folklore. Not to mention that the Hiisi monument is similar to a Wyob statue or obsidian obelisk in Natland. These scions are faithful to the unsullied and sacred moonlight, likely linked to the last surviving moon sister or a fragment of the dead frost moon. Belye Tsar, roughly translated as the White Emperor, sounds like the original Cryo Archon before the Tsaritsa. Tsar implies a male monarch rulership in Russian language, possibly even one of pre-celestial archons. Shown with a broken cryo symbol, the White Emperor is even more evidence that the Pale Star Edict was the old order of Snezhnaya before becoming the Fatui. But since it's also the first Pyro Archon, we might get a connection with the Cryo Dragon Sovereign as well, similar to Egeria replacing the Hydro Dragon and then passing it on to Focalor, as well as Nuvolette appearing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see a Cryo Nuvolette in Snezhnaya proper. The Snowland Fae might be children of the Cryo Dragon, or a form of Cryo Oceanid, or Melazine, Aranara, Winat, or Jin, which were originally from sovereigns or other gods from other regions. They do seem to be a full faction within the game which have a symbol in Nod-Krai, so maybe they're closer to the Melazine and Oceanid instead. I wouldn't mind seeing a Cryo Melazine either, so long as they're not walking glass bottles or dancing plants. The Adventurers Guild, the ever-familiar Ad Abstra Abyssosk motto to the stars and the abyss, which is insanely relevant now since we're literally moving to the stars and the abyss, as well as finding more about the origins of the Adventurers Guild. The headquarters of this faction was created and established in Snezhnaya, and the important figure from the HQ is preparing a proper welcome greeting. If we take a look at our upcoming characters, only one character is yet to be seen, and it's this guy who looks just like he's from the Adventurers Guild, as opposed to previous theories being Dahlia. Clink-Clank, Krumkake, This one seems like a comic relief faction at first glance, but don't let their crumcakes fool you. Prodigy, inventions, and mechanical genius might imply someone potentially on Sandrone or Dottore's level of intellect and technological skill. This might also be where the Catherine puppets, along with other bionic puppets, are created, which means that this faction has knowledge that levels the Shogun A's when creating mechanical puppets. Their tech might also counteract abyss corruption or decode primordial barriers connected to the moon. A hammered-in heart might also be just a symbol for mechanical hearts of machines as cores as well. Symbolized by a merchant ship over swirling waves, the Voynich Guild was formed by a merchant of the Nasha town to maintain order and regulate commerce across the island chains of Nod-Krai, which means that Nod-Krai is a bunch of islands like Inazuma. In a region plagued by outlaws and seaborne threats, their influence goes far beyond trade, exercising control through means both official and shadowed. The true authority lies with the elusive boss lady of the Curatorium of Secrets, whose name inspires fear even among criminals. As tensions rise in Nod-Krai, the Voynich Guild becomes more than merchants. They may be power, wealth, and information brokers with eyes on every secret. Possibly named and inspired after the real-world manuscript of undeciphered symbols and unknown language, the guild seems to be more like merchants of unreadable truths, curators of either forbidden celestial records or beautifully crafted forgeries. Like the Voynich manuscript itself, they walk the line between hoax and prophecy, sailing between commerce and conspiracy. Now this is unexpectedly wild since treasure hoarders, long treated as comic relief, are for some reason part of the hype group factions of Nod-Krai. The treasure hoarders are a widespread group of opportunistic individuals known for theft, illegal excavation, and black market dealings across the Van. Though often seen as disorganized or comical, they represent a persistent and adaptable underground network and even featured in a lot of world quests and Archon quests, as well as being the token bandit group in the game. Their founder, Reed Miller, established the group as an organization of mutual cooperation, driven by the desire for a world without boundaries. This dream appealed to many impoverished and uneducated individuals who turned to treasure hunting as a means of survival and profit. However, the treasure hoarders' lifestyle tend to trap members in a cycle of risk, fleeting wealth, and continued instability, which is perfectly why they're established in Nod-Krai. While their goals are not noble, their presence in the unfolding Nod-Krai events suggests they may once again complicate matters in pursuit of treasure, regardless of the consequences. Their air quotes great treasure, the One Piece, the Crescent pieces, being whatever they could find in Nod-Krai, is likely a fun quest that reveals more about Reed Miller than maybe some lore about Snezhnaya, or the reason that their symbol being closely related to the crescent moon. Lastly, the Knights of Favonius, Mondstadt's protectors of freedom, have arrived in Nod-Krai. Far from home and deep within Fatui territory, this elite unit, personally led by the Grandmaster Varka, has crossed Snezhnaya on a mission shrouded in secrecy. Historically at odds with Fatui interference and Abyss corruption, the Knights' sudden presence in a region tied to lunar phenomena and ancient power structures signals more than simple reconnaissance. Their objective may be to intercept a rising threat, perhaps even connected to the Pale Star or relics of a fallen moon. The Hiisi Island rises from a blue-violet frozen range crowned with towering ruins that stretch ever skyward, structures that may be remnants of a long-lost lunar palace. Apart from not even looking like it's part of the Vat anymore, its landscape is dotted with glowing lunar totems and temples, each shaped around the motif of the moon, along with remnants of what seems like the unified or primordial civilization. The biggest totem appears from the sky like it's from another realm, or that it's literally breaking through the fake sky dome, as well as its white celestial or maybe even dragon-era glow. The Frostmoon Scions who dwell here are described as praying to the moonlight in their hearts, sacred and unsullied, suggesting that the Hiisi may be the last untouched sanctuary of lunar faith. This place might be where one of the Moon Sisters fell, or it could house some sort of lunar energy still untainted by the Abyss, as it is likely what the Wild Hunt is searching for. Appropriately, the name Hiisi comes from Finnish mythology, referring to a sacred grove or powerful spirits tied to ancient and dangerous places, emphasizing the island's dual nature as both holy ground and hidden secrets. The rest is all the same, so I won't be covering that any more than I should, but that's all the lore and theory we've got regarding the new moon event update. I do hope you guys enjoyed this quick little breakdown analysis of the new web event, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment below your thoughts on what's going to happen to Nod-Krai and the new moon, as well as subscribing and hitting the bell for more content like these. Now, I was supposed to release a Tolan 5.5 video, but I had to make this one first due to its abrupt release, and I have no idea when they're releasing the next updates again. I still have to finish that Dragon Era lore, so I'll see you guys in the next video, yeah? As always, I can't enjoy subscribing to more of my ramblings and stay mad theorists. Bye!